Hello there and welcome. It's Megan Maria, your independent Chalk Couture designer, and we are having a bonus night. I know, I said that we were going to be done with the You Are Enough series because, kind of had enough. But, you can never really have enough, right? So I have one little bonus project that I'm going to make tonight because I did kind of promise that I would make something for boys. And I never did it. So, of course, my son reminded me of that today. Bless him, right? So, I need to make something for boys. So, I found a really cool idea that I actually copied from another designer. And I very much was thankful to her because she had a really good idea. So, we're going to try it tonight. Hello, Sarah, and thank you for sharing and reminding me that please share the video. By sharing the video with your friends, they can see all the great fun that we're having, and then you get entered in the drawings for all the amazing signs we've been making. Hey Molly, welcome. So if you can hit share, that would be fantastic. But this is, I promise, this will be our last night of being enough, because you are enough, right? But I did promise that we would do something for boys. So tonight, this is a quick, I say that every night. It's a quick project, and it's actually going to be two-sided, and I'm going to use the board and the base. This is one of my very favorite Chalk Couture boards because it is a very nice board. It's 5x7, and it goes either way. So it's double-sided. You can chalk on both sides. It's inexpensive. I think it's $7.99. And it washes really, really nicely. So you can reuse and reuse and reuse. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. Hello, Carol. Hello, Nicole. Thank you for sharing. But this is a really easy, nice board. It's not expensive. It cleans up really well. This is the board I use for most of the classes that I teach for it's the smallest transfer size that we make, which is the 5x7. But what's nice about it is the double-sidedness, the washability, and it's a nice board. So we're going to use this board tonight. So it comes, when you buy it, it comes like this in the little package, and you just cut it apart and try not to cut the board when you cut it apart. So what we're going to do tonight for boys is we're actually going to combine two different transfers. The You Are Enough transfer, we're not going to use the flowers because I don't think that my son would appreciate the flowers. But you never know. He can be kind of flowery sometimes. He's definitely my more creative child, I'll say. Yeah, he definitely is. So the other nice thing about this board is you can also chalk on the base. So I have seen several people do different things on the base. We're not going to do that tonight, but you can chalk on the base, you can put ribbons around the base. There's lots of different things you can do to make this board, to jazz her up a little bit. Hey Lori, thanks for watching. So we're going to combine the two different transfers. This is our last, I promise again, of our You Are Enough. And then we're combining it with the You Are Courageous, or Be Courageous transfer. And the Be Courageous transfer comes with the bear and the eagle. And it's just a bunch of words. It's Joshua. But it's be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. This does not fit, obviously, on our board. So what I'm going to do is on one side, I'm just going to put this part, the bottom half, and on the other side, we're going to put the eagle with the You Are Enough over it. So that's my plan for the evening. I was going to put it all on one board, do the whole thing with the You Are Enough underneath it, but it's a lot of words, and he's 15. He's not going to read that much. So first we're going to start with our eagle, because that's our background. And we're going to do that in the Ocean Mist color, which is my super pretty gray-white, or gray-blue, that I like so much. Now, our eagle has not been used before, so I'm going to fuzz him. But one of the other nice things about the Chalk Couture boards is you don't have to fuzz so much with them because they're made for the transfers. So it's not as big of a deal as when you're using other chalkboards. Just got to be careful. And I know that whole waxing thing sounds intimidating, but it's not. We make it sound worse than it is. You just have to know that the surfaces that you put your transfer on can affect the life of the transfer. But as you've seen with this You Are Enough one, what have we done it on? We've done it on wood, we've done it on glass, t-shirts, done it on all kinds of things with this same transfer. And we just keep using the same one. So, obviously, if you take good care of them, you can reuse them. So I'm just going to use my blue for our eagle. We'll have to really make sure he's dry before we... So, just putting my chalk paste on, squeegeeing it across. Now, anytime you layer chalk, you always have to be conscious of the fact that your transfer can lift the chalk up when you put the bottom chalk off, when you put new chalk over it. Okay, so I'm going to start in my corners, but don't pull from my corners. I'm going to pull from the middle, and I'm going to pull, so you can see, I'm going to pull this way, not this way. Pull this way, and he won't curl. So I've been told. He didn't. Good job, Mr. Transfer. Okay, so I have this very beautiful pale blue eagle, which is Ocean Mist. Which, you know, I could kind of use some ocean today. Couldn't you, ladies? I mean, I don't know why it seems so cold today, but it was freezing out there today. So I did not get to respray paint our sign from the other night, last night. So I haven't fixed him yet, but we're doing the drawing tomorrow. So I have a little more time to get him fixed. And my sister-in-law, thank you very much, Karen, she chimed in and she said I should spray paint the frame gray. So depending on who wins it, I'll probably do that. So I'm just really making sure he's dry because I'm going to lay the transfer back over it and I don't want it to pull the paste. The other thing that you want to do when you layer is really make sure that you fuzz. Now our transfer has been used, as you've all seen, many times. So he's not overly sticky, but he's still sticky. So I'm just going to, I don't have to fuzz him, but I do need to give him a little fuzz. Okay, the other thing you want to do when you really heat, because my gun's a heat gun, you don't want to put your transfer down when it's hot. You want the board to cool down because that also affects how much it sticks. So you want to cool it down if your gun is a heat gun. If you're just using a hairdryer, you don't have that issue as long as, because you would probably turn the heat off. You don't need the heat, you just need the air. I just happen to have a heat gun, so that's what I use. Okay, so then we're just going to put our You Are Enough right over this eagle. This is going to look so cool. And we are going to do the You Are Enough in fawn, which is kind of the off-white pale, kind of cream color. This particular child of mine loves blue. Loves blue. And you know, when you're 15, it's kind of a rotten age. He's a freshman. He's adjusting to high school. You know, he's got issues. He's a great kid, though. Super fun. Oh my gosh, he's so much fun. He's definitely my creative, energetic, question everything child. And we all need one of those, right? They keep you hopping. Okay, so squeegee 90-degree angle, making sure I get every section of our silk screen covered. I'm not hearing any noises, so I don't think I have any error yet. I think the more you use a transfer, the more likelihood you are of not getting it stuck down properly. That you have the air bubbles which give you the bleeds. Oops, and I missed a section of silk screen. Let's just get him. But super easy. Okay. Pull him up. Okay, so I'm pulling him up and my chalk paste dried. I'll show you. I don't want to take the transfer all the way off. But see on the eagle how my chalk is gone? So you lay it, when that happens, you lay it back down, and you just, now this I can tell was just the chalk was just laying on the top of the silk screen. I just didn't push it through hard enough. So I don't think I need to add, oh I do. Alright, so this is what you do. You take your finger, you take your spray bottle. You don't want it wet. You just want it just a little wet. And you go over it, and that wets the chalk so that it will go through the transfer. But when your chalk dries, yep, perfect. Except I seen another spot on a different letter. That's what all you do. If you pull your transfer up too fast, you don't have the opportunity to see that it dried. So then what you would do is you would, sometimes you have to wash the transfer and then you just lay it back down. Sometimes you don't have to wash it. It kind of just depends on if you got chalk underneath on the back side of the transfer. You wouldn't want to lay it back down. You would want to wash it, because otherwise when you lay it back down with chalk on it, you will get, I'm not doing a great job here, you will get more chalk in places you don't want it. Okay, so there we go. Only now my H dried because I didn't pull it off all the way. So, oops, and that was too much water. When you get too much water, then it just gets runny and then you bleed. So we may have to redo our H. Okay. Yeah, we're not using that again, so I just stick him in my water. So I have a little cleanup to do. My H, I put too much water on my finger. That's what happens when you put too much. And I came off the transfer up here. So this is a real easy fix. So this is our cleanup. Very easy. Again, I just use the same water that I sprayed on my table. Use my fancy Q-tip. And I am breaking my cardinal rule. You always wait for it to dry before you clean up. Otherwise, you mess up things you didn't want to mess up. Trust me. Because you've all watched me. I have no patience, and I want to fix it right away. I don't want it to dry. I just want to fix it. Take my advice. Stick your finger places you don't want to. Okay, so this is our first side. And I know, I'm sorry, the words are backwards for you. But we just have our cute little eagle, and stick them in the base. So this is one side. This is our You Are Enough side. So I want to dry him because I need to lay him down. And then we're going to put the bottom half. So all we're going to put on the other side is, "For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." He needs a little love, little religion in his life. I love this kid. He's my kid that has probably read too much Greek mythology, and he wants to create his own religion. Which, not, you know, A for effort, but not happening. But knowing him, he'll probably do it. Because anything his mother says he shouldn't do is exactly what he's going to do. Okay, so we're totally dry, so I can lay him down. My board, this other thing you want to make sure is whatever you're going to lay it down on is dry, because if you put dry chalk down on water, it just reactivates it again. So now I'm just going to take our motivational spiritual words, and this is not been used much, so this guy needs to be fuzzed. I don't have a fuzzing towel, so I'm just going to use my leg. I've only used this transfer a couple times. I really love this saying. And I did this one on one of those like we made last night with the, where I spray painted the one side, and it was super cool. Okay, so this is going to be a very tight fit because this transfer is made to go on a bigger board. It's made to go on the 9x12 Grayson board. And my only fear is you're not going to see the Joshua part once I put him in the base, because I bet it comes down too low. So we're going to see if I can't get it up a little higher so that you get the whole saying. Really would like to do the entire saying, but not going to all fit. And unfortunately, the 9x12 board is not double-sided. Now, oh, I could have done that. There's a 10-inch square board. I could have done it on that. Didn't think of that. But then I'd have to hang it somewhere, and I really need this to be someplace that he can just set it on his dresser. It would compete with all the posters on his wall. Yeah, this is not straight. So how is everybody today? surprised, I bet, that we're having a little bonus and we're still making You Are Enough. Because I did say we'd had enough of You Are Enough. And here I am. Not quite done. Still not straight. Sorry, ladies. It's not straight. And that's always my biggest challenge, is making it straight. Especially when it sticks to my board. Okay, so I think I might be straight this time. Hello, Julie. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. But sharing gets you entered in the drawings. And we're doing the drawings tomorrow night. Okay. Again, my transfer is bigger than my board. So that does make it more challenging. So I'm rubbing my finger over the words. Anytime you do a transfer that has little letters, take your time and go over every single letter. Because these ones bleed. Especially when you're using ink. Because the inks are thinner. So you just, and black. Black is probably the thinnest of all of the pastes. Because of all the pigment in it. Okay, we're going for it. So this one we're going to do in fresh linen. Notice I didn't call it dirty linen. I wanted to, but I didn't. Well, I might as well call it dirty linen if I'm just going to tell you I was going to call it dirty linen anyway, right? So this is a very tight fit on here. In fact, as you can tell, I didn't get the punctuation. So we'll see how it looks when it's in the base. But it's a tight squeeze. So fresh linen is this super pale gray white. Which is why I call it dirty linen. It just looks like a dirty white. But I love this color because, like, as I have chocolate on my fingers, but this is that. I mean, white is stark. This just is a little more subtle. So I have tended to lean more in the fresh linen world than the stark white. But there are definitely things I think that I love, like the black and white with the houndstooth behind me. I love that starkness of the black and the white. It's just so bold, and I think it looks so cool. You probably can't see what I'm doing because my transfer's curled up. Okay, so I'm just putting my paste on, squeegeeing it off. This is it's starting to dry. It must be hot down here tonight. So your conditions around you do make a difference as to how quickly things dry or how they don't dry. So for example, I have a friend that she chalks with a space heater, and she dries so much faster because of the space heater. I did a class one time, and we were outside, and the humidity made a huge difference as to how fast it dried as well. So I'm pulling it by the corner. Don't do that. Pull from the middle so you don't stretch. It's hard. I can't hold it down. There's words everywhere on here. Okay, sticking them in my water. That's simple. Chalk all over my fingers. I don't want to lift it up. Okay, this looks cool because, I mean, it covers up the whole thing. So here is our other side. He's not dry, so I don't want to touch him too much. Let me dry him, and then I'll really show it to you. I'll show you both sides, and we'll stick them in the base and make sure it still fits. But this is a fast one. Hey, Carol. Yes, Carol, there are, and I'll explain that to you in just a momento. When my crazy dryer is not making all this noise. Okay, so Carol is asking, are there guidelines as to when you use chalk and when you use ink? And you can use ink and chalk on both surfaces. What makes a difference is what's permanent and what's not permanent. So, chalk is semi-permanent. It washes off if you want it to. But, you know, it's chalk. You can rub, and it's not going anywhere. Not like chalk, like sidewalk chalk. So it's not going to go anywhere, but I can spray it and wash it, and it will erase from the board. So if you want it to not be permanent, you use chalk. But you can chalk on fabric. Not to completely confuse you. You can do it on fabric, it's just if you wash it, it's going to wash off. Doesn't necessarily mean, though, that the pigment will disappear. So if you chalk with red on fabric and you go to wash it, thinking it's just going to go away, it doesn't always work that way. Because of the pigment could leave, the reds especially, leave red. You use ink when you want it to be permanent, so you want it to not wash off. So pillows, towels, fabric, anything you're going to throw in the washing machine. But you can ink on a board and just not heat set it. In theory, you could then wash it off just like you wash off chalk. Because there are some really nice colors in the inks that you don't have in the chalk. So for example, the shimmers. There is no glittery chalk. So if you want a shimmer to it, then you need to go with there's a copper, a gold, and a silver shimmer in the inks. Those are probably the only inks I've used on chalkboards because they're not available in chalk. There are a few colors in the inks that I don't have in chalk. Eucalyptus, for example, which is a really pretty green, which of course now I can't find. Fig is another one. So there's a couple colors that you don't have in chalk. So you might want that color, and then you could use it on a board, and then just, you're not heat setting it. So really the difference is heat setting when you make something permanent. If you heat set ink, you can put things in the dishwasher, you can put them in the washing machine, and you're fine. They're not going to go anywhere. So sometimes people want to, so for example, this board that we made last night, we put that on glass. You might want to wash it to dust it with the Windex, like we talked about yesterday. If you do that, it's going to wash off. So you could seal it by spraying it. So I have a polyacrylic spray that I use that seals it. So I do that when I'm going to do something that potentially might go on a front door, and maybe it gets some rain on it. So these things. I made a ton of these at Christmas time, and I inked or chalked them because they're glass, but people might want to put this outside by their door with a candle in it. So I did spray these so that it wouldn't wash off. So you can make chalk permanent by spraying a polyacrylic over it. Or even like a Krylon Crystal Clear. I've had some luck with that. So basically any kind of varnish. You don't want to rub it though. It needs to be sprayed. Because if you take like a varnish with a paintbrush and you go over this, you will reactivate the chalk. And you're going to smear it. So it needs to be a spray. So I have a couple that I use. I use Krylon Crystal Clear. I use Crystal Clear when I'm going on glass. And I do it very lightly. I use Minwax Polyacrylic when it is not on glass. So if it's a board. So, for example, I did the days to Christmas where people then wrote in chalk on how many days it was to Christmas. So I knew they were going to wash the board. I needed the chalk to be permanent. I sprayed that with polyacrylic. The vintage truck. People like to make the vintage truck, and you can change the back of the vintage truck for every holiday, but they don't want to re-chalk the vintage truck every season. So you can make the vintage truck, spray it with polyacrylic, and then just change out the back of the truck every season, and then you're not remaking the whole thing every time. That was a really long answer. Sorry. I got long-winded there. Who knew I could talk so much? Anybody that watches me. Okay, so here is our, and again I apologize for it being backwards, here's our one side and our other side for our young man, Master Joseph. And you kind of lose the J on this side, because maybe I could have put it up a little higher. And then you've got the UR enough on the other side. So this is our quick, simple little project tonight. So we couldn't leave the boys out, right? We needed to do a boy thing. Thank you, Nicole. I do think Joe will love this. He's just such a special young man. So, that's it. That's all I got for you. We'll do the drawing tomorrow, and we'll give everything away. The signs that we've been making, we'll do that. So share away. So you're one more entry into that drawing. And tomorrow we'll give stuff away. Thank you so much for watching me, ladies. I hope you have a lovely, lovely evening. And I will see you tomorrow. See ya. Bye.